Hello and welcome to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Nina Adio, a social media marketing expert specific to the wedding industry. On this show, I discuss tips to help you DIY your social media, as well as getting the confidence and income to outsource it. Thank you for allowing this episode to come through on your Bluetooth, your car radio, wherever it may be you're listening from today. Now, let's take your wedding business to the next level. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. Can you believe that we are at episode 91? I can't believe it, but it's pretty exciting. A few months ago, I had done an experiment where I did daily podcast episodes, and that was awesome. And I think really helped to get our backlog of episodes up. We have seen the podcast grow since then. So I just want to take a second to thank you all for listening, for your reviews, for your messages about the podcast. It really means a lot. If you missed episode 90, I got to chat with Helen Christopher of Brook Ledge Venue. It's a venue that was a former campground, and now not only do they host weddings, but they will create and sell and offer weekend wedding packages. Now, you may think, well, they're an untraditional venue, that's why they can do this. But we explore how maybe traditional venues can look into this and how vendors of all kinds can get involved. So you're going to want to go back to episode 90 to check that out. A few other things that have maybe changed in the past few weeks or have been added on my website. I do now have a resources tab. So a lot of my industry colleagues offer things that I am not able to yet. At this stage in my business right now, I just do full service social media management and one-on-one strategy calls and Instagram audits. So if you're looking for something that's more self-paced or like a course, right now on the resources tab of idoweddingmarketing.com, I have affiliates that I recommend and people who I have collaborated with, such as Evolve Your Wedding Business and Carissa Cruzy Weddings. So you can check the resources tab to see the different programs they offer for self paced learning and marketing. I do, however, want to claim it and put it into the universe that I do intend on creating a course that I can deliver to you guys. That is something that I have finally just put on the schedule and put it out there that I am going to create an online self-paced course. So if you think that is something you'd be interested in, send me a message because you may get the opportunity to be a beta on this project and to get access to it before anybody else and at an incredibly discounted price by giving me your feedback. So if that sounds interesting to you, send me a message over at I Do Wedding Marketing on Instagram. But what am I talking to you guys about today? Okay, today I want to talk about sales, specifically sales in social media. Now, you may say, duh, of course, social media is supposed to be a form of sales. But what I discover through all the online social media engagement and interaction I do is that it is not being used as an extension of your sales team or sales process. So I want to kind of go into what that looks like, what I see when somebody isn't using social media for selling and what it looks like when somebody is. And it can be subtle. It doesn't have to be in your face. But really the bottom line is if you are outsourcing your social media to somebody who is not an industry expert, you want to make sure they understand what's expected of them as social media for a wedding business. Because what I see when I see people outsource it to somebody who's not familiar with the industry is that there is no selling happening on social media. And I do strongly believe that that is going to affect their return on investment and bottom line. So what I did while I was on one of my clients' accounts, so this way I wasn't just looking at people who I already know or interacted with, I pulled up two alike vendors. So this example, they were both venues, and I looked at the most recent post and the most recent caption for each. So the first one I pulled up has no hashtags, no location tag, so you already know that's gonna bother me. But the caption is, "The highest happiness on earth is the happiness of marriage." William Lyon Phelps. And the photo is a bride and groom, presumably on the grounds. And that is one option. Okay. So the next photo, and that one had 14 likes, no comments. The next venue I pulled up has their location tag, has hashtags. It has a caption that says, "A first dance in our rustic ballroom. Don't," they tag the bride and groom, "look amazing." And this one has 27 likes and two comments. And the difference for me is that this one, very subtle, has a bit more storytelling. They're referring to their ballroom because it has a photo of the couple dancing in the ballroom as their rustic ballroom. Rustic is something that is still being requested a lot. People want to see wood beams, a barn style wedding. So they're describing their ballroom, they're putting their location in it so we see where it is. They're involving in storytelling with the bride and groom and tagging them, and they're using hashtags, and they did receive more likes and more comments because of it, where the other one didn't tell any storytelling at all, and it's putting a lot of pressure on the photo alone to sell the venue. And I don't think the photo alone is enough, especially when you then get into the habit that every photo being posted is just paired with a love quote. So, is that enough to warrant investing in social media as a means to selling your business? Because what I find that does is that it puts pressure on the photos you're using, and these are photos from the photographers. They're not sales photos, taken for the venue. And that's me assuming. Maybe they are. Maybe they were taken, but just because of the caption not telling any story, it makes me almost assume not. But it could be. But it puts a lot of pressure on just the photo and just the Instagram algorithm because there's nothing backing it up. There's nothing explaining how do you get in touch. Many of your couples will have never toured a venue before, or have booked a photographer before, or have booked a photo booth before. They don't know what the process is. They don't know what they're looking at. And to sell on social media, you can put them at ease and introduce them to that process, because chances are before they're engaged, they may be finding you on social media and seeing things because, ideally a couple's together a while and starting to feel like it's time and starting to look at things even before they're actually engaged. I mean, if you know, you know. If you've been there, you've been there and you started to look. And so, what you want your social media to do is start to bridge those gaps for your potential couples. Start to explain the process, start to explain how they book with you. Where are your FAQs? Bring your FAQs into your social media content. It doesn't have to be a time consuming strategy. In replace of just using a generic quote, go to your website and pull content from there to help sell in your social media. Now, I just want to be really clear that this is not done with the intention of um, putting down another account or anything like that. It is an audit essentially. I am looking to see how they could make their time investment and energy more effective. And that's what I do if you were to book an Instagram audit with me. I'll be going in and seeing your photos, your posts, your captions, your hashtags, etc., and letting you know where you are missing out and where you can improve. So all of this is used and brought up and said just as a tool to show you what I would do and what I have seen be effective, because when you are a wedding business owner, your time is precious. So you want every post you do on social media. Right now, of course, I'm focusing on Instagram, but this is across the board for whatever social media profile you are using and posting on. You want that post set up to do as much work for you as possible, with you doing as little extra work as possible. And that's why I want you to have location tags in your posts. That's why I want you to have hashtags in your posts. And that's why I want you to have SEO captions in your posts. So, what that means is I want you to mention things like your location, the type of business you are, and search terms in your caption. So, whenever possible, if you're a Baltimore photographer, try to mention Baltimore wedding photography in your captions, because that is searchable. And what this does, when you have your location tags, your tagged accounts, your hashtags, and your good quality captions, they work together to bring people to your post without you having to do that extra engagement work. Now, of course, for my clients, I'm doing that extra engagement work anyway, but that doesn't mean I want to just rest on one or the other. I want to do both, and that's with the intention of getting as many people to each post. My advice and my homework to you is to pull phrases from your website that you can use for your Instagram and social media captions going forward. You can pull them into a document in a notes file on your phone, whatever works for you. I think Google Docs are great because they are accessible from anywhere, and that can be a place where you put phrasing from your website, as well as positive reviews or anything else that would make a relevant caption for your post. So this way you have it all in one place, and you can either do it yourself or even send it to your social media person if they are missing the mark. But if you are at the place where you don't want to miss the mark anymore, then I encourage you to fill out the contact form over at idoweddingmarketing.com. We can either do an Instagram audit for you, a full on 90-minute strategy call, or we can see if you meet the application needs to qualify for my full service social media management. I would love to see what I can do for your wedding business. If you'd like more free tips and tricks, you can join the I Do Wedding Marketing Facebook group, or just binge listen to that back list of episodes that I was telling you guys about. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next week.